Hello students, welcome to Dhaka Secondary School, North Karachi campus, and today you are watching class 9th English language class, and these slides are prepared by Sir Fahan, language teacher of Dhaka Secondary School. So students, today's our topic is first week of January, and our learning agenda is active and passive voice, and second is application. Okay students, these are two important topics. Now first of all I start from our first topic, that is active and passive voice. So students, what is active and passive voice? First of all we learn about verb, then tense, then active voice, passive voice, steps of conversion from active to passive voice, chart of active and passive voice, and in the last we make all the tenses active to passive conversion. Okay students, so now I start from our first point, verb. What is verb? We know students, verbs are two types, stative verbs and action verbs. So first of all, what are stative verbs? Those verbs which express a state rather than an action, that is stative verbs, like I like cheese, he believes in God, she knows me very well. And what are action verbs? Those verbs which shows action, that is action verb. So action verbs have two types. One is intransitive verb, and what is intransitive verb? Those verbs which do not have any object after them, that is intransitive verbs. For example, he laughed loudly. So laugh doesn't need any object in order to complete its meaning. Without object it gives the complete meaning. In the second example, she fell on the ground, so it is also what? Second form. And the second is transitive verb. What are transitive verbs? Those verbs which shows action but they have also object after them, that is what? Transitive verbs. So in example you see Alex sent a postcard. So postcard is what? Object, and send needs an object. So that is what? Transitive verbs. So action verbs are of two types: intransitive verbs which do not have any object, and transitive verbs which have object. So why I have taught you this? Because without learning transitive and intransitive verbs we do not make active and passive voice. So students, first of all I tell you tenses. Tenses means what? Time with action. Okay, there are three types of time: present, past and future. So every time we have three times. Present time is which is going on now, past time which has been gone, past present is called past time. Okay, and future which is upcoming time, that is not the part of grammar, but still we learn about it. It is an assumption about future time. Okay, so what is, so basically all three times has four conditions, and condition shows the actions. Okay, on what condition the actions were going on or went on. So we have four conditions: simple or indefinite condition, in which we talk about the permanent situation of that thing, and continuous what? In continuous condition we talk about ongoing action. In perfect condition we talk about happened. Okay, that action has already been happened. And in perfect continuous we talk about partially complete tenses. Okay, actions. So here comes the list of all the tenses. So in present, in simple we have present simple, past simple, future simple. In continuous we have present continuous, past continuous, future continuous. In perfect tenses we have present perfect, past perfect, future perfect. And in perfect continuous we have present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous and future perfect continuous. So now students, so now I tell you active voice. What is active voice? Basically active voice are those sentences in which we focus on subject rather than on object. Okay, but objects are important in active voice, because if we do not have any object we do not make passive of that sentence. And important is also that in active voice we always use what? Transitive verbs which have what? Object. For example students, monkeys adore banana. So monkey is subject here, the person who is the thing which is doing something. Adore is what? That action transitive action and bananas is object. So in the second example, the cashier counted the money. Cashier is subject and counted is our transitive verb and the money is object on which the action has been done. And the third is the dog chased the squirrel. So dog is what? Subject. Chase is what? Action, transitive action. The squirrel is object on which the action has been done. And the formula of active voice is what? We use first subject, then helping verb and then object. And now I come towards our passive voice. What is passive voice? Basically passive means lazy. Okay, in those sentences we always focus on object rather than subject and verb. Okay, we focus on object and verb. Okay, so for example, bananas are adored by monkeys. So this is what the passive form of the verb, in which in last slide I told you that is the passive of that active form. Bananas is what? Object, and we put object first and then helping verbs, then verb. We always use past participle form, means third form in passive voice in order to make, and then we use subject in the last, but before using subject or agent we use by preposition there. And the money was counted by the cashier. The money is object, but when we make passive voice we put object first, then we put helping verb, then we always use third form. After verb we use preposition by, before that agent, and then agent. The squirrel was chased by the dog. So now the formula of passive voice is what? This is very important. We use first object, then helping verb, then preposition by, then subject. But important is that when we use object first, we always, if there is given personal pronouns, we always use subjective case of that object. Okay, in further slides I will tell you how to make it. And if we put subject in the last, so we have to put its objective case. Okay, so example. Okay students, so now I move towards our conversion, steps of conversion from active to passive voice. So in order to convert active into passive voice, we have to take some steps. First step is what? In first step we replace subject with object and object with subject. In the second step we use respective helping verbs. Respective helping verbs, in present simple we use present simple helping verb. Okay, always use past participle form, means we always use third form in passive voice, and before agent or before subject we use by. Okay, after verb or before subject we use by, and in the last we place subject, its objective case, in which I told you earlier in the slides. So now I move towards the students chart of active and passive voice. So here comes the chart of active and passive voice. So in active and passive voice we have some sentences and in helping verbs, and in passive voice we also have tenses and their helping verbs. So okay, so bit by bit you come to know about their tenses and helping verbs. So we have present simple first in active voice, and the helping verb present simple is do, does, but in passive voice in present simple we always use helping verb is am. In active voice we have past simple, and in past simple we always use second form in affirmative sentences, but in negative or interrogative we always use first form. Okay, in past simple we use, in passive voice was, were, helping verb. In future simple we use will helping verb. In future simple of passive voice we use will be. Present continuous we have is, am, are. But in passive voice we have is being, am being, and are being. So in past continuous we have was, were in active voice, but in passive voice we have was being and were being. Okay friends, in future continuous we have will be helping verb, but in passive voice we do not have any passive voice of future continuous. Seventh is present perfect. In present perfect we always use has, have, but in passive voice we use has been and have been helping verb in passive voice. In past perfect we use had in active voice, but in passive voice we use had been. Future perfect we use will have, but in future perfect of passive voice we use will have been helping verb. present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous, we do not have any passive voice. In active voice we use have been, has been, had been and will have been in respective sentences of active voice, but we do not have any passive voice of these three last tenses. Okay students, I hope you got it, the chart of active voice. Now I tell you how to make sentences from active to passive voice. Okay, this is the second chart in which I will tell you how to convert active voice sentences into passive voice. So one by one I tell you I will give you the tense. Here comes present simple. He writes a letter every day. He is subject, it is present simple. In present simple we use first form, and if we have third person singular we use s or es. A letter is object. So in order to convert this sentence into passive voice, we have to use a letter object first, then helping verb is am are written by him every day. So here is the example of conversion from active to passive voice. In past simple, she taught me yesterday, but when we make it passive, I was taught by her yesterday. Why? She is subject. In place of subject, I have put I because me is object, and in conversion we put subject object first, then subject in the last, but we change their cases. She has been changed into her and me has been changed into I. Okay, subjective case is converted into objective case and objective case is converted into subjective case. They will play a match tomorrow, so soccer will be played by them tomorrow, so don't worry about these subjects. So I have just changed the subject, but tense is same. Okay, so in active voice they will play a match tomorrow, so a match will be played by them tomorrow. Don't worry about it, friends. Present continuous, I am breaking the rule here. So when we convert into passive continuous, the rule is being broken by me here. In past continuous, we were enjoying the picnic last day. So in order to convert it into passive, the picnic was being enjoyed by us last day. Future continuous, you will be advising me tomorrow, but we do not have any future continuous passive voice. Okay students, so now I move towards its 7th sentence, present perfect. Completed actions, I have replied him now, but when we convert present perfect passive, so it becomes he has been replied by me. Okay, in past perfect she had done this, so in order to convert into passive, this had been done by her. Future perfect, she will have flown a kite will have been flown by her. In present perfect continuous, I have been learning language since my childhood, but we do not have any passive voice in present perfect continuous. Past perfect continuous, they had taught me this in 2008, but in past perfect continuous we do not have any passive voice. Future perfect continuous, I will have been playing cricket for 1 week next month, so we do not have any such tense in passive voice. Okay friends, I hope you got the idea about conversion active to into passive. So now I move towards our second topic, how to write a formal application. So basically application is what that we have some parts in order to write an application. Definition, parts of application, a specimen of a formal application. So now first of all I tell you why do we use application writing. So students of the school write an application for leave or taking permission to their principal or a headmaster to get leave for a short period of time. In the same way, the working people or professionals write the leave application to their manager or supervisors to get leave for a few days. Okay, so here comes students the parts of application. So there are few parts of application. So first comes heading. After heading we put subject, in salutation, then opening lines, then body, then ending lines, then complement, then signature, date, and in the last we put name. So here comes the students the specimen of an application, how to write an application. So first of all we use heading at the left side, and after putting heading there we leave space, then we write subject of the application, then we use salutation to whom we are writing the application we use their post there, and then comes the opening line of the formal application. It can be different. Then comes the body, the whole part for which we are writing the application. Then comes ending line, and here comes the subscription. Subscription is not mentioned here, but subscription is also the part, that is what, yours obediently. Then comes signature of that person, particular person who is writing that application. Then comes date, and in front of that date we use name. Okay students, this is our application and active and passive voice and topics. I hope you got the idea about it. Thank you.